Hey, welcome back. My name is ChrisUX. I'm the founder of the Aspire Agency here in Atlanta, Georgia. And today I want to talk about communication and UX design. I think this video will be good for designers coming out of boot camps or certification programs. And because you spend so much time learning the process of UX, you spend so much time trying to learn UI, but you may not spend much time as far as communication. And that's a very important part of being a UX designer. So, and we talk about different stages of communication. So it started off with my day job, right? In my day job, I work with a team of about a dozen designers, and or at least I did. But we started off with like a dozen designers because we have one big, huge product, and the product it was so big. The product is so big that every designer had their own product within that product. Because they all had to be in sync. And so with the product I was given, I'm working with a PO, a product owner, a researcher, and a dev lead, right? And we all in different locations, working remotely. Yeah, we everywhere, right? And and one thing I had to learn pretty quickly, because when I first started the job, I'm still fighting off imposter syndrome. Am I good enough? Things are confusing because, like, for me, I work in healthcare tech, so that stuff can be really tricky because I'm not really knowledgeable in healthcare when I first started out. If you're wondering, are you asking too many questions, or are you just not catching on to what's going on? It's a lot of things going on in your head, and it can be overwhelming. And so after a while, I had to learn to be be very communicative and learn to step up too. Because as a UX designer, I'm also a leader. I'm a team leader. As far as my meetings concerned, right? So, for example, that you have your stakeholder or business. Your stakeholder gives the work down to your product owner. Product owner gives it down to you. Sometimes some businesses, they may have a product owner pass down to a business analyst, and that pass down to you. Like, depends on the business, right? And so they pass down the work, the feature needs to be done. Then you may have a researcher on hand, and you have a lead there. And for me, I find it important to be in communication with everyone because everybody had different assignments and everybody's calendars is very busy. But for me, I stepped up to a point to where I made sure I had a weekly meeting with my team, and I also made sure I had a group chat with everybody too between meetings, because sometimes I want to design something and I gotta wait like a week to get on somebody's calendar, because if you work corporate, it's hard, and you try to set up a meeting with like 5 other people. That can be a headache because it's hard to get everybody on one accord to get 30 minutes or an hour together, right? So I had an idea of having a group chat. So we all get in a group chat so I can communicate things between those meetings. Because sometimes, like, I may be designing something. I'm like, yo, take a look at this. Like, let me know if I'm going in the right direction. What you think about this? Yes and no, whatever. So like the PO, she may see something like, yeah, I like this, but let me run this back by the stakeholder. I see something, I see additional question may need to answer, or the dev first may see it like, hey, I like this, I think we can do this, or be like, no, like, no, we can't do this. We wouldn't be able to do this within our time restraint or budget or whatever. It's just good being in communication so everything works, kind of flows together. So it's important as a UX designer to have the communication skills to bring everybody together, because everybody had different roles, but you are the glue to all of it, because you had to put it together. Because not only you had to put together what the stakeholder wants, and you got to put it together in a way that development can execute it, and then you got to make sure you can get the research done to make sure you put together the right product, right? So you have all these elements working together, and that's why communication plays a big part. So it leads to another stage of communication. We have a thing called peer review, to where once you get everything together, you design the feature or whatever assignment that you have, and now you got to present it you had to present it in front of your other designers on your team, and get their input and feedback. Because at the end of the day, we all work on the same team. We all want to make sure we have the best product possible. So after you did your work, you present in front of other designers and try to get their input and see how they feel about it. And one thing I had learned the hard way at my job was, I had a good design. At times when I presented it to peer reviews and in front of other designers, I had to change my design for another suggestion. I felt like mine was better, but I had to do it because I didn't know. I had to learn how to defend my design. So like, yeah, I know it's a good design, but I had to defend it. I had to prove why it's the best design that's there. So that just comes to another form of communication. So even though I know it's the best design, I had to communicate it to other designers to let them know or prove to them that it's the best design, and this is why it's the best design. So um, and one way of doing it is, for example, this really documenting your process of putting together your product, and like say, 'cause you trying different ideas, so like you may just document other ideas that you have tried, and and why they didn't work, because more likely you may find another designer in the peer review are going to offer the same idea, and if they can convince everybody else to go along with it, then you have to change the design to where they suggested. But if you can prove that, yeah, I did try that, and this is why I didn't go this direction, and if this is why it didn't work, then you have to be more successful in your peer review. But it's just showing you this another round of communication that you have to go through. So not only you communicating with your own personal team, you communicating with other designers. Another way of doing it too, or you may need help with your design, you may reach out to your other fellow designers and do a co-design. Communication again and collaboration. Another way of doing it, right? So after all said and done, after you did all the peer review and you work with your team, the product is done, it's approved, and now you may have to present it to your company now, right? Because like you work in a big company, so many things are being done. So sometimes your company may have like a monthly meeting or a quarterly meeting where you present the work that you have done, explain what you have done. And these people are most of these people are not designers. They may not understand the ins and outs of UX. So you have to be able to present your work in a way to where they understand what you did and how it benefited the company. And oftentimes it's in the form of like some type of slide presentation or a slide deck. And so you present your work differently to them than you would a fellow designer. So again, communication plays a part, because you want to understand what you did, and want to understand why your work was viable, and the benefit to the company. So this is like some things. Just a quick tip to keep in mind. Just keep in mind about communication. Communication is very important, because you can be the best designer in the world, but if you don't know how to defend your designs, or you don't know how to communicate your design to other people, they can see what you're seeing. It's hard to move forward. So kind of keep that in mind. And like some things, and sometimes it might turn into a debate, and sometimes you not always win. That happens. Like it have been times I lost, or somebody had a better idea, and that's fine, because at the end of the day, you want the best idea possible, especially if it is a better idea. I think on time you feel bad that if you know deep down um, you have a better design, but you didn't convince enough people to see it your way. That's when you gotta go lick your wounds a little bit, and you gotta learn how to better defend your design. But that's just some things you have to deal with. I mean, but that's just like in the enterprise space. But even working for like a startup, and you may be the only designer there, you may be working directly under the CEO and under the founder and the CTO. Um, Communication still plays a part. And you say they had to be able to relay what you're doing or what you've done to them in a way that they understand it and appreciate it. So gotta keep that in mind as a designer of communication. But I hope that helps. Anyway, this quick video, like, share, subscribe, reach out to me on LinkedIn. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. If you're interested in my services in UX, reach out to Inspire Agency, inspire-ux.com. Thanks for watching.